Hey guys, welcome to heavy metal photo processing for Affinity Photo for iPad. Today what we're going to do is go over some different heavy metal band photos that I've taken throughout the past couple years. I just got 3 of them for this video, but we're going to run through them and I'm going to show you how to fix some issues that you might have when taking live band photos, and we're going to give them all like a process. We're going to give them all like a different kind of look. So let's just get right into it, and I'll just kind of show you, and hopefully you learn some new tricks in Affinity Photo for iPad. Okay, this first band here is a band called Suicide Silence, and they have a common issue in this picture when you're doing live stuff. Is it's a good picture. We got everybody in frame. We even got the drummer kind of through the guitar player's arm. So the picture looks good, but of course we have the 2 heads that were just a little too close, and that's an easy fix right there. We're just gonna crop those guys out. So let's just kind of bring this up, and we're gonna bring this over, and right about there is gonna look good, and we are gonna crop this. Okay, cool. So that was an easy fix. Now we got the little bit harder of a fix of, we got the roadie in the background, and he's kind of like right in the middle of the center of focus. He's just right like in the wrong spot. So still not a problem. We're gonna make a new layer, and we're gonna use probably the most popular thing here. In any kind of picture, this happens all the time. You got to take stuff out of your pictures. And the way to do that is using the in-painting brush. So we made a new layer, and what we did is we're on the current layer here. If you can see at the bottom, we want to change that to current layer and below for the source. So now we want to start slowly like painting this guy out, and it's going to be kind of a pain. And we don't want to try to do it all at once. We want to try to slowly kind of go through and knock him out. And like I said, this is going to take a couple times. I'm going to go as quick as I can here. But now we're going to go for this. And over the course of a couple things here, you'll see this one might be a little sloppy, but we're going to keep at it. Affinity has a really good in-painting brush, and this really knocks out a lot of stuff. A lot of times you can usually get it right away. This is a little bit harder one to get, but as you can see, we're going over it a couple times. It's not coming out that bad. We're actually getting it a lot quicker than you would expect. Now, we're not going to be able to get it perfect just with the in brush. If I keep going over this, I can get this good, and you can keep kind of going in and selecting little pieces and kind of taking it out. But eventually you're just going to kind of get this like this stuff at the bottom here where it's just going to be kind of copies of copies, and it's not going to look fully right. So what we want to do is now we want to go back in, and we want to use the clone brush. And what the clone brush is going to do is it's going to give us like an exact like placement of pixels and repaint with that. So you want to just hold with your finger and kind of pick a spot that you want to use for painting. So we're going to use right here, and we're going to like paint down here with it. And then we're going to kind of choose another spot like over here, and we're going to kind of paint in here with it. And then we're going to kind of go over here, and we're going to paint this here. And that's basically how we're going to kind of get rid of all that stuff. So now here, I want to choose over here. I do want to just get the opacity down a bit here. So let's kind of just go to 50% opacity so it's not so harsh. And let me get the brush up. I definitely want a bigger brush and kind of get in here. And, just kind of get painting there. So as you can see, that's definitely didn't take too long. We can take more time with it and really get this like a lot better. But for this tutorial, I think you guys get it. You go through with the in-painting brush, and then you go back in with the clone tool to get like anything that you missed. And you can get this dead on. So, okay, so bam, we took that guy out, not really in too hard of a way. So now we got like a good looking picture here. There's some action. We got all the guys in frame. You know, we got the guy out, the roadie in the background, but I want to give it a process. I want to process this photo and just give it like a better look. So a lot like a cool metal look to do is to like just that high contrast kind of look. And what we're going to do for that is we're going to go all the way over to the last persona here, and which is tone mapping. And tone mapping, what it does is basically it's similar to contrast in a sense. Like tone mapping gets your darks really dark and your brights really bright. But with contrast, where it's just a slider, tone mapping, you have way more options, and tone mapping tries to mimic HDR photography and just like real high definition, high range photography. So, okay. So now, good thing this happened. The layer that we're going to tone map, now we can clearly see the guy that we took out here. We're going to cancel this. We were tone mapping that layer. We actually want to tone map this layer, which is the picture, but we're going to run into an issue when we're tone mapping that. It's going to do the reverse, and then the top guy is going to be different. So what we want to do now that this is good, and once you have everything good, you want to merge that down. So you want to go to merge down, and then now we have our solid picture, and now we can go into tone mapping, and everything's going to be fine. So as you can see, just by going into it, we already kind of got that, like, you know, high dynamic like look going on. So let's kind of darken it up. Maybe bring the exposure up a little bit. Bring the contrast. See, depending on how harsh of a look you want, like, yeah, there's a lot of band photos that I see that are this harsh, and they're just like this crazy, you know, harshness. So this is kind of up to you, but this is how you kind of get this look, the you know, just the super contrasty look without just literally using contrast. So let's just kind of go through and just kind of get some settings up. Let's really kind of pump the vibrance and saturation. I don't want it that contrasty. Let's kind of bring it down to there. I think looks good. And you know, we can clearly see huge difference. This is a good shot, good action, but this just looks more like what bands are posting, and it's got that process, that heavy metal process. So anyway, okay, we're gonna apply this, and that's what we're gonna do to this picture. And let's just move on to the next picture. All right, guys, the next band we have is In This Moment. So we're going to develop, this one's raw. I brought in the file. The problem with In This Moment is they have so much smoke on stage. It's hard to get a good picture of them. I took a lot of pictures of them, and this is one of the only pictures that has light smoke. There's not a lot we can do about the smoke. Let's kind of develop this first in RAW here. The first thing you want to do when you're in RAW is kind of, if you click on this bottom tool, the white balance tool, and pick something white. We're going to go with this guy here that looks a little blue. You want to kind of click a couple white spots just to make sure you're right. And that looks about white balanced. So we're going to bring the exposure up a little bit, and then we're going to bring the black point. We're going to kind of play with this a little bit. The problem is the smoke. The more we do on the high end, the smoke is going to kind of keep showing through. So, you know, we don't want to do too much to this right now. We want to kind of bring the shadows down. I think that's about as good as we're going to get it in the raw segment right here. So let's go back up to the view tool and go ahead and develop this. So you might be thinking haze removal is going to work with this. So here's haze removal. And here we are in haze removal. And the problem with haze removal is it's not haze, it's smoke. So even if we crank everything up to 100%, all it's doing is darkening the picture, and it does kind of get rid of some, but we can just kind of do that a different way. We can just kind of use curves and, things like that to get rid of that. So let's go ahead and get out of this. We're not going to do haze removal. Let's go to our adjustments, and let's actually first do levels, because that's kind of what haze removement's doing anyway. So let's kind of get the blacks just a little bit blacker, and then the whites just a little. We're just going to crunch this a bit, not a lot. Now we're going to go to curves, and that's going to be our next layer. So levels makes an adjustment layer, and then we're going to go to curves, and that's going to be a new adjustment layer here. So basically what curves are is when you go to Instagram and you do Instagram filters, basically all it's doing is playing with different curves and stuff, and it's just giving you a real dramatic effect. And because we can't do a whole lot because of the smoke in this picture, what we want to do is just give this a really good look. We really want to capture the moment of this, and go with kind of a stylized color. So the way I do it, I always go red, blue, green, and we kind of bring the reds in. So the top here is the highlights, and then now, as you can see, we're bringing reds into the darks. So we can kind of start out there, go to blue, kind of drop the blues down a little bit, and then kind of crush them in a little bit more. Then go to green and just pop the greens up in the highlights and bring them down in the lows. If you go out of order, sometimes it gets disorientating. So I like to just do red, blue, green in that order, and it gives me the quickest results. And as you can see, we're just kind of playing with the colors, and I think right there, it just gives more of an emotional kind of feeling, she's really, giving that high note into the mic. So now though, we want to go to the master, and we can crush the lights even more and kind of bring the darks in just a bit more to kind of get rid of some of that smoke. But again, there's not a whole lot we can do. We're going to boost the mids a little bit and just kind of play with it. But overall, given this just a little bit of a kind of Instagram filter is going to help it a lot. And let's actually kind of go in and crop this, because we don't need the bottom of the stage or anything here. What's going on? There we go. And say right there. And then I'd say that's about it for that picture. Curves is very powerful, and you could just use it on pretty much any band, any person. You should definitely be playing with the curves a lot. And last but not least, we have GWAR, a definite metal band. Quick side note, I've been showing video of the bands, but not playing their music. It's because of YouTube's copyright filters. But GWAR and all the other bands sound like they look. And, if you don't know who they are, you're going to have to look them up, I guess. Look up their music at least. But Okay, so GWAR is just so character and animated. I think we're actually going to take this photo and make it look like a drawing, do one of those artistic styled, like do like a character thing to it. So what we want to do here is first we want to not make a new layer. We want to duplicate this layer, and we're going to do detect edges to it. And that's going to give us like a, like this kind of drawing outline here. What we're going to do is now we're going to go in to the layers here, and we're going to kind of pick something that lays over this and kind of, so we can kind of see both. We can also click on this and kind of go through this way. But we still want that picture. We still want the guy behind it. Let's do difference here, because difference, like, it still looks like the photo, but it looks like it's drawn a little bit. To pump this up, you can do posterize here. So what posterize is going to do is it's going to start really crunching all those colors down to different steps of colors. So we kind of want something low without getting too low. I think a 9 actually looks pretty good there. Okay, so we're going to get out of that, and then we're going to do one last thing here. And the last thing we want to do here is we want to do a split toning to it. And what that is going to do is kind of give it some, let's just jack up both these right off the bat. What that's going to do is it's just going to give us like this color shift to it. And we can kind of just get some different looks out of it. And kind of depending, that green looks kind of cool. We can also kind of go in and do like a blue. Oh, I kind of like that. But it's just kind of splitting the tones, and it's giving it like a really, kind of over the top look. And, I think that's perfect for GWAR. So that's what we got for the last one here. Let me do a folder for this one. You can make a folder, and then you can just drag and drop everything into it. And, well, hold on. Everything went a little... Okay, there we go. So now we can see the before and the after, and definitely over the top, but it's GWAR, and I think that's the only way to go with this. So I hope you guys learned some stuff. Definitely play with the effects, and, definitely get metal with it. And, let me know what you think in the comments. I might do one of these again with like a different, something maybe a little softer next time or something. But keep on rocking, guys. I'll see you next time. So give me a subscribe if you like what I'm doing.